Is Roky Road going to sell his YZF R125? And the answer is there is an expression known as the elephant in the room, and most viewers will have heard of this expression, but just in case anyone hasn't, the elephant in the room refers to a situation where something needs to be discussed or a question needs to be asked, but no one's prepared to ask the question and no one's prepared to start the discussion, and it's known as the elephant in the room. And I feel like, with regards to this channel, there's a bit of an elephant in the room at the minute. That elephant in the room being the question, is Roky Road going to sell his YZF R125? And the answer is, genuinely, I do not know. You see, the plan originally was for me to sell this bike once I got myself a bigger bike. And the thing is, the bigger bike, Lauren, well, she turned up far sooner than I thought she would. And so now I'm left with the question of, am I selling this bike? You see, Rafiki has become, well, he has become such an integral part of my life that part of me can't see myself selling him. But the original plan was to sell him once the big bike came along. So now I'm faced with that dilemma as to, do I sell my 125? And, well, if you were staying on a 125, as far as 125s go, aesthetically, why would you want anything else? Why would you need anything else? And not just aesthetically, but blimey, if I was staying on a 125, he'd be going nowhere. But that elephant in the room is there. His successor has arrived. So now I have to ask myself, am I going to sell my 125? And although I've got a bigger bike now, there are still jobs that I want to do to this bike. So for example, I want to paint his clip-ons because these are kind of flaking now a little bit, and they're definitely starting to show their age. So I want to get them clip-ons painted. I want to paint his swing arm, although it doesn't look too bad on this side. It's definitely starting to flake on the end there, and on the other side you'll really see just how the paint has scrubbed off there, just from general use, general wear and tear. And again at the back here, starting to flake a little bit. So I wouldn't mind actually getting that swing arm painted. And on the subject of swing arm, actually I am considering fitting some cotton reels, which on this bike it's a little bit more involved than most. You can't just bolt them on. A little bit more work to be done there. So I'm thinking about that. And of course I do still want to remove the pillion seat, and The pillion pegs, I'm just not sure, once I've removed the pillion seat, where I'm going to put my camera for filming, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. So yes, I still want to do those couple of things. And then there's the symbolic value that this bike holds for me. Yes, I love the bike, I think it's brilliant, it's my first motorbike, but there is a symbolic value there for me, which I don't mind sharing with my viewers. So back in 2018, I'd not long gotten out of a long-term relationship, and my ex-partner was a nice enough person, she was good at heart, but as I started a journey of self-development, she started a journey of self-destruction. And so the two of us, our two paths just grew further and further apart until eventually we had to part ways. And it had only been 2 months between the end of that relationship and me purchasing this motorbike. So I feel like this journey of self-development that I've been on all these years, that I'm still on, that is proving to be one of the best chapters in my life, Rafiki has been there with me for the whole journey. He's been there with me from the start, and so I just feel like I can't let him go in a way. In one respect I have to let him go, but in another way I feel like I can't let him go. That symbolic value is really important to me. He really does represent the start of a new chapter in my life that is no longer new, but is still absolutely bloody brilliant. And he's been there with me the whole time. And if you're going through anything like this, my heart goes out to you. I genuinely hope that you overcome whatever demons you are battling at the moment. And if you have a motorbike, well, you'll know the therapeutic side of motorbikes. I found my therapy on 2 wheels with this motorbike. I found my motorbike therapy with Rafiki, and again, man, it's going to be difficult. If ever I do sell this bike, that's going to be a tough day, that is. And another reason why the bike is staying, at least for now, is commuting. It must be a month now since I said that I was a little jealous of people who commuted on their bikes because they got to ride every single day, or at least they got to ride more often than I do. And I had no intention of commuting on this bike, but I have commuted a couple of days at least since then. Not talking loads. I probably commute, I work 5 days a week. I probably commute 1 day a week, 2 days if I'm lucky. And this bike does make a good commuter. I wouldn't want to commute 5 days a week on this bike because you'll rack up the miles, and the oil change interval on this bike is every 1200 miles, so definitely wouldn't want to commute every day on this. But at the moment I'm thoroughly enjoying the occasional 1 or 2 days a week of commuting. So for now at least the bike is staying, but I am aware that once I start riding with Lauren, I am aware that it could change my opinion of this bike. I'm not going to be oblivious to it. I know that that might happen. Once I'm out there riding with Lauren, my love for this bike may diminish. You know, the way I feel about this bike may change. It's entirely possible that nothing changes and that I enjoy riding with Lauren as much as I enjoyed riding with Rafiki, and I end up keeping both bikes. But I don't know. All I know is that for now, my YZF R125 is staying, and we will see what the future brings.